This is the podcast pit, brought to you by Danny Media.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Saturday morning. You know what that means. It is time to talk some wrestling. This is the Podcast Pit. I am your host, former professional wrestler, promoter of Voltage Wrestling, jack of all trades, master of what I do not know, Mike Raddick. I'm alongside my broadcast partner, Rennis, the Menace, Carbaugh. How you doing, Rennis?
Not too bad, Mike. A little tired today, but I'm here. We're here. Yeah. We're here to talk some wrestling, man.
Everybody's a little tired today.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a week. It's been we only got, another busy one coming up, but we'll be here,
Yes, we've got a stand-in producer here helping us out today. We've got Kyle Reyes.
Thanks, Kyle.
Behind the desk here helping us out as LAJ is out of the studio this morning, but that is not going to stop us or slow us down at all. We are here live once again each and every week. Sad news to kind of start off with this week. Yeah, we need to talk about the passing of local professional wrestler Porkchop Johnson. Porkchop Johnson, a regular around here for the NWL, ATCW, even did a stint in WWEs. Hell of a performer.
Yeah, and that guy was over.
Oh, he sure was.
I mean, he sure and when he would come out through that curtain, man, it clicked.
Yeah,
it takes a special person for it to just, when they come through that curtain, for it to just click. Especially on on an independent level.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't have the name, they don't have the machine backing them. But to see him come out through that curtain was, great guy. My
personal story, I've only had one interaction with him. I'm not around the local indies as much as I used to be a couple of years ago. But I remember attending an ATCW show, and I'm sitting over at the announce booth. I ride down with referee David Rep at the time. Wasn't on the show, but I'm sitting over there. I'm talking with Robert Fox over at the announce booth, and I'm seeing a lot of the guys that I'm kind of familiar with, so I'm just shooting the shit, kind of catching up with Rob just because I hadn't seen him in a while.
Right.
Porkchop Johnson comes out, and immediately my tensions just kind of turned away. I'm just like, whoa, who is this?
Yeah. You couldn't take your eye off him.
The dude oozed charisma.
Yes.
Oozed charisma.
100%.
It was so much during intermission, I had to actually go back to the back and be like, dude, that gimmick was money. You're great.
And I think I only got to see him once, maybe twice, but like we said, man, he oozed charisma. He had it. He had that. That connection with an audience that, there are people who work in this business for years and they don't have that. Decades, and they're not able to do that.
It takes years to establish a presence like that. And, it's a damn shame that somebody has left us so soon. I know a lot of the area professional wrestlers, I've seen guys, Mike Black, the promoter of ATCW this week, paying his respects, wishing him, throwing out his condolences.
Yeah.
Tony Lowe here, even in the chat, he was just like, Tony Lowe loved him, and it's just, I've never heard somebody say a bad thing about Porkchop Johnson.
Right.
And, it really is, it's a damn shame that somebody's left us so soon.
With such a bright career.
2020 is taking no prisoners.
2021 now.
Well, 2021. Yeah, so 2021 pick it up where 2020 left off.
Let's hope this is just a temporary, some temporary fallout. I'm still thinking it's
this 2020.
I know it's
just told us.
Well, it's just because time has just kind of.
Yeah.
It is insane. I was thinking about this today. It is absolutely insane.
We got Mike Black in here, Porkchop Johnson, two-time ATCW champion. Very, very, very sorry for your loss. This week, guys. I really am. I wish I knew him better.
Right, me too. Really I do too.
Just with all the good things that you're hearing about this guy, I really do. I wish I knew him a little bit better than I did. I've only met him once.
Right.
Even there, and he left an impression on me.
Right.
So
steering from local news to, there's a lot of news again this week. Lot of big stories. So we're gonna bounce through them. Let's talk about the biggest one. Mania was finally announced this week. They finally announced their plans for what they're going to do for Mania. April, I think they said 3rd and 4th in Tampa.
April 3rd and 4th in Tampa.
And they're looking to do a live audience. Limited live audience, but 2 freaking nights.
Yeah, so they're talking about having 25,000 fans in the stands each night. And personally in Florida, that's not surprising. A lot of the football games, even the AEW events, have had fans in the audience. So this is going to be a new thing for WWE. They've taken their time. So I am assuming here that they're going to do this safely. It's still
it's WWE. They haven't been there's several things to be critical of WWE in this kind of quarantine time.
Tony Lowe, we're going to get to your last comment here in a moment because I got a wrestling story tying into that as baseball legends we have lost this week.
But what was I saying? Oh, there's several things to be kind of critical of WWE in this what I call the quarantine era of wrestling or the COVID era, and the way they handle this pandemic internally, not the greatest. So I worry how they're going to handle it externally. While once again, I know we crap on on WWE a lot. I still love the WWE. I still love the wrestling. It's just when you're the the premier show, there's a lot to be expected of you. And, you can be critical of the storylines, you can be critical of everything else, but the way they've handled this COVID epidemic leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, you hear, it seems like every other week you hear a story about how they're handling it or lack thereof. So, for instance, it came out this week that WWE let their talent know that they will not be providing them with the COVID-19 vaccination, which...
Guys, the COVID-19 vaccination costs people $0 right now. $0. And we're still not providing the talent with said vaccine. I have a problem with this. I'll tell you a personal story here, over the summer, when people were talking about getting events back here in the state of Maryland, I remember the State Athletic Commission trying to say they wanted to charge for a COVID test for the talent $100 a pop. And, I had a big problem with that because the COVID tests for the general public are free.
It's free.
This...
and I understand, they don't offer the health care. I totally get that, the whole debate about health care and being an independent contractor. But it's the least you could do.
Take care of your people. Don't work them out of money.
Yes. Yep.
That's I feel like that should just be common knowledge.
Right. I mean,
take care of your people. Don't work them out of money.
I don't understand why they can test them every week, but they can't, when they get access to the vaccination, they can't vaccinate them as well. It just seems... for all they've done for you during the COVID era, coming to work during a pandemic in Florida, which is a hot spot and has been since day one, you've had talent, dozens of talent, get COVID because they had to come to work. The least you could do is test them and vaccinate them. Yeah. It's the absolute least you can do.
Especially since it's free.
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't look good. It just, like you said, Mike, take care of your people. Talent. Especially right now. But Mania, we're going back to Mania. We kind of got off on a little tangent, COVID, but we were going to talk about that anyway. Because how can you not right now? How can you not talk about COVID? It's everywhere. I hate the 2 nights of Mania. I absolutely hate it. It ends up being, granted, I also hate one night that's 8 hours, and it goes back to what I was saying last week. Mm-hmm. Everyone gets a Mania moment every year. It's not special anymore.
Now, I will say, it looks like they're going back to the one-night Manias here in Dallas and in Los Angeles.
I really want to go to the Hollywood one, because I remember...
I'm going to go.
Because I remember WrestleMania 21. Remember, WrestleMania 21 was a Hollywood one. That is one of the best WrestleManias, man. It was premiered.
I'm going to get to another story after this. We're going to seg into another story here based on Tony Lowe's previous comment. But going out to Los Angeles and participating in a WrestleMania there, like some of my best WrestleMania memories from the times that I've gone. I've been to 6 or 7 WrestleManias at this point. Some of my best memories of WrestleMania was from that Los Angeles trip. This was before Access or before it was like the big weekend that it is now.
Right. It was just Mania.
It was just Mania, but like coming from the Hall of Fame ceremony and, being on a shuttle with like Jonathan Coachman.
Right.
Or, seeing Hulk Hogan walk right by you,
Now, did you stay the night after for like Raw and SmackDown too?
Yeah,
okay. Because it was used to be Tuesday nights for SmackDown. They recorded it.
Yeah, SmackDown was in Bakersfield, California. That Tuesday night. It was either Bakersfield or San Diego, but the Raw was in Los Angeles.
Gotcha.
Again, it was a great Raw, but just that whole entire weekend was one of the craziest weekends ever.
Right.
I can't we'll have to get into the stories here later.
Maybe when we get closer to Mania, we can we'll take an episode where we talk about Mania.
I've got a couple of guys I can bring here in the studio to talk about our Mania road trips and some of the crazy experiences that we've had.
I've only been able to go to one.
I want to segue into this other story here because this is kind of a non wrestling story, but it's
Hank Aaron.
Yeah, the Hank Aaron story.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so Hank Aaron, baseball legend, passes away this week. Did you know?
Probably not.
Okay, you probably didn't know this. Yeah, I was telling Kyle about this last night, and he was kind of like, I don't think he quite knew, but Hank Aaron changed the wrestling business.
How so, Mike?
How so? Okay, so here we go. It's early '90s. I want to say this is '91 or '92. Bill Watts is the president of WCW.
Yep, I remember that time.
Now,
I mean, not personally, I wasn't alive yet, but I know the stories and the history there.
Yeah, so Bill Watts goes on a radio program, and Bill Watts, it was actually a PW Torch interview.
Okay,
and Bill Watts says this: if you want a business and you put money in, why shouldn't you be able to discriminate against people?
Whew. Ooh.
Yes, it's free enterprise. You're going to make it or break it. That's why I went into this business, so that I could discriminate.
And what did Hank Aaron say? I feel like he said something.
He says, it's my investment, but he's like, I don't feel that it's right to tell me that I can't tell a quote unquote. I'm not going to say the word.
No, please don't.
F word, and it has to do with a gay person.
Okay.
Which I'm reading here. I can't tell a said person to get out.
Oof.
This was said basically to a journalistic publication. Now, a lot of people don't know Hank Aaron was the president of Turner Sports.
Gotcha.
And
that was a big thing. Like Ted Turner, that was one of the things that they had going for them was the sports in the movie catalog was a big thing that they had.
It's a huge thing. But, when you have a baseball legend who has broken barriers for minorities and people that have been discriminated against, and he overhears this interview, you kind of have to give somebody the boot. So Bill Watts gets the boot. I believe he went on to be an agent for the WWF after that. Never in any kind of position of power. We'll have to tell the Kevin Nash story about that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because there's a Kevin Nash story I'd love to air.
Oh, man.
But long story short.
Too late.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's too late.
That's a joke, too. If you've ever seen the movie Clue.
No, so, back to our story here. Bill Watts is fired, and now we have to find somebody outside of wrestling because Turner Sports does not want to hire anybody that has any kind of experience in the wrestling business.
Yeah.
Fortunately, there was a young announcer at the time who, did wrestling, but his roots weren't wrestling. It was basically broadcasting and sales.
Yep.
And that was one Eric Bischoff.
Yep.
Because of this move, WCW ended up becoming a global phenomenon, beat WWE for 83 weeks. Say what you want about Eric Bischoff, but the man turned it around, and it's a small part to a move made by baseball legend Hank Aaron.
Yeah, a huge thing. Something that, in retrospect, it's small, but it's huge.
Yeah.
You're fired. And then that's what led to the firing of Bill Watts. Now, I know a lot of the talent, had some issue with Bill Watts.
Yeah.
Because Bill Watts was very much, he's the one that got rid of the mats outside of the ring, if I remember correctly. He's the one who said you couldn't go above the top, the second rope.
Well, yeah.
Stuff like that. He had imposed these rules and regulations from an old school Old school.
Yes, old school, and I'm talking 70s old school, something that shouldn't even, like in the 90s, that had no place.
Right. And it's funny because he was one of those people who refused to change. And, we kind of see that now in some cases. Time is a circle. So, here we are 50 years later from the 70s, 20, 30 years later from early 90s. And we're seeing some of the same things,
I mean, this isn't anything new. They did this right after the invasion, where it was just like, okay, we've got rid of the competition. Let's go back to what we were doing that wasn't working.
Right.
It just there's no rhyme or reason. It's just people want to do what they feel safe doing,
right?
And they don't want to push those boundaries or progress at all.
Right.
Which is when you're working in any kind of creative endeavor, and professional wrestling, love it or hate it, it's a creative line of work.
Right.
You have to push boundaries, and if you're not pushing boundaries, you're not really doing anything.
Right. I mean, like you said, say what you will about Eric Bischoff, but his famous line, I mean, controversy creates cash, and he was 100% right.
Yeah.
He changed the wrestling business. That WCW changed the wrestling business. They may not have survived, but because of them, we see a lot of changes still playing out today.
Yeah, the format that you see today in the WWE is the same format that they've used since 1997 that was created to combat WCW.
Yep. Yeah.
20 years later, that format is still in place. Well, 30 years later at this point. Yeah, I mean, like that, 25, I should say, but that's...
Yeah, so, speaking of sports, we're talking about Hank Aaron, talking about sports. Yeah. So, kind of some interesting news that could affect the WWE this week is, I just told you this when I came in studio today, NBC's Sports Network will be closing or shutting down by the end of 2021. And why does this affect wrestling? Well, it's because the rumor has it that all those sports shows, hockey, NASCAR, there was one more I can't remember, but those are the two big ones. Premier League, soccer, thank you, will all end up on the USA Network. The big one that will affect that is hockey, because Wednesday nights is when they run NXT during a prime time when there will be a hockey game. I foresee NXT getting bumped just because it's not doing the ratings. Now, in the past, whenever there's been a game that's preempted Raw, they typically give Raw the boost because it's Raw. It's been there forever. It gives them ratings, but that may not be the case anymore. I mean,
you're drawing ones. Sorry,
it drew another 1.8 million this week. NXT drew another 565,000 this week. It's down. Whereas AEW, once again, 876,000. A good number considering there wasn't anything major happening.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was still a great show, but there wasn't.
Sidebar here.
Yes.
I just noticed this. It is Tony Lowe's birthday.
Well, happy birthday, Tony Lowe.
Tony Lowe. What's your favorite Tony Lowe gimmick? Deuce Donatelli or Anthony Odyssey?
Oh, man.
What's your favorite Tony?
Anthony Odyssey, man. Anthony Odyssey. Tony Lowe, I know you're watching. Anthony Odyssey was quite possibly one of my favorite gimmicks in area wrestling.
Yeah.
It's in the top.
I'm right there with you.
It's easily in my top 5. It may be my favorite.
It's in your fave 5. Huh?
Yeah, it was so good, and they had the quiet sign.
Oh yeah, Sean Cradle last time with the quiet. Yeah,
it was so good. That's one of the gimmicks I want back so bad.
Yeah,
the gimmick was great. It was funny. It got heat. The
most over golfer for me since Shooter McGavin.
Yes.
So
yeah, exactly. I remember we used to call him. People would call him Happy Gilmore, and he'd get all ticked off. It was great. It was awesome. It was really great, man. It was one of my favorite gimmicks, and that's one of the gimmicks I remember.
Oh yeah,
you remember that gimmick?
Yep. Going back to the news here, we have got once again AEW Dynamite.
Yep. Trouncing NXT.
303,000 viewers.
More. Yep.
Yes, this is up from last year's Yeah, this is up from last week's New Year's Smash that drew 762,000 viewers. They had 854,000 viewers on.
Yeah, I was close.
Yeah.
Pulling the numbers off the top from memory. Not always easy.
Oh no, it's not. It's not easy at all.
I'm always close. Yeah, man. Once again, another good AEW. And here's the crazy thing: you had the Fight Pit on NXT. You've got between Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa, and that was a big match. You've got the start of the women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, which I saw today, and I'm kind of ticked off about. I missed it last night because they relegated one of those matches to 205 Live. 205 Live is great. But the fact that you relegated it to a show that not a lot of people watch, and you're trying to put over your women's tag teams, and you're trying to put over your women's division, that deserves to be on NXT. That does not go to 205 Live.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, WWE, I mean, that's the Harvard of women's wrestling right now.
Right.
Like the women's wrestlers are coming out.
We need a counter saying for every week that you say that. I mean, it's true. It's true. It is 100%
It's the Harvard
true.
of women's wrestling right now. Highlight this shit, man. Like, I don't understand why it's not even highlighted more on NXT, especially when you're getting your ass handed to you in the ratings every week. NXT's not a bad show.
No.
It's not. Like, there's incredible talent over there. It's just, you're not going to beat AEW on a Wednesday night when you've got Adam Cole going up against, Sting and John Moxley and Chris Jericho. It's like, it's not going to work that way.
Right.
Adam Cole's a tremendous talent. He's holding his own over on that show as far as the ratings go. Same with, the Undisputed Era, whoever else is over there. I haven't watched in a while.
Right. No, the talent is good. You've got, for those of you who maybe remember him from his quick stint in Impact and especially in the Indies, you've got Karrion Kross and Scarlet Bordeaux, who is one of the top women's wrestlers in the world. She's incredible. They haven't had her wrestle yet on NXT, but I tell you, when you see it, you will be shocked. She's incredible.
Who is this?
Scarlet Bordeaux.
Oh, Scarlet Bordeaux, the smoke show.
Yeah. And she's absolutely gorgeous, and you would not expect what she can do out of this girl, but man, is she good. And Karrion Kross, he's one scary dude, and I love it. It's a great gimmick. Once again, the problem is you're up against AEW. You're up against a show that always has you asking what's going to happen next. Yes. Especially with the Impact.
A show that's not overproduced either.
Yes.
That's a big thing. Like, talent aside, this is just my opinion. One of the reasons that AEW consistently beats NXT in the ratings, and I think we mentioned this on the last week's episode, that if they continue with the current pace, they're going to end up being they're going to end up bringing in bigger ratings than Raw by the end of 2022.
Yep.
That remains to be seen. That's a projection.
Right. Lots can change.
Yeah, that's a projection, not an opinion. But one of the big reasons is things aren't being over-explained on the show.
Right. It's
I really.
It allows you to draw your own conclusions. It allows you to theorize. It's not just like, oh, I know what's going to happen next. When you watch WWE, you know what's going to happen next. And if you don't, it's something stupid. It's gimmicky. It's gimmicky stuff. It is. Like, all right. So I'm going to talk about one of the worst segments I've ever seen. And unfortunately, it was on last night's SmackDown. You had Bianca Belair and Bayley in an obstacle course.
What is it like?
They had to flip a tire, run down the ramp, hop over 3 walls, and that carry a wrestler with Bianca Belair, carried him on her shoulders all the whole way around almost the whole one side of the ring, and then made a basket. That's what you had to do. First of all, you've taken Bayley, who was one of your top women's heels, and now they've got her doing this stupid ding dong hello thing. That's her catchphrase. Ding dong hello. That's her.
I haven't seen this.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
And then you've got Bianca Belair, who, the EST, of WWE. And which I don't think a lot of people know this is she really is the fastest and the strongest at when they do their combine every year for all their talent. She deadlifts the most out of all the women. She over all the women. She is incredibly strong, fast, and talented. Great on the mic. And you're relegating these two women to an obstacle course. A stupid, gimmicky, once again, obstacle course.
Yeah, I really
if you're
I really miss the days. Like I know wrestling's always been kind of hokey sometimes. Like there's always something kind of hokey on wrestling.
Yes.
Like when you're going like over the top, like just above and beyond to try to be
right.
hokey.
What I don't understand why you can't just let these two women wrestle.
Yeah.
Who would have thought wrestling on a wrestling show?
I know it's a novel. It's
I
a novel
sound,
idea.
Oh
isn't it?
God, I sound like Jim Cornette.
I know you do.
Oh boy.
No, I'm going to go to the comments here.
Yeah.
Ed Still commenting here in the chat along the lines of what you guys are talking about. I never want to see a title match in the opening slot at WrestleMania. I think it downgrades the belts.
I put agreed.
I think you are correct,
Yeah.
sir. It does downgrade the belts. I don't understand why you would
Well-
put a world heavy like my first stadium WrestleMania show outside of 21 was 27, so they opened up the show with Del Rio and Edge, I believe.
Del Rio's trial set to start this week, I believe. Yeah, sorry. I remember reading that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a foregone conclusion.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
doing some time, so
Yeah.
sorry. But yeah, back to that. They opened the show up with the World Heavyweight title match. You know, this is Edge's last. Like, this is supposedly Edge's last match.
Right.
Granted, they didn't know at the time, but however, a World Heavyweight title match opening the show should not happen.
No. Well, and here's the other problem. You've got too many titles.
Yeah.
There's so many titles. You've got Intercontinental, American, the U.S. Championship. You've got both. You've got three sets of tag team, two male, one female. You've got two women's titles, major women's titles. You've got two men's major titles, and then the stupid 24/7 stuff, which I'll admit, R-Truth is funny.
Yeah.
The 24/7, as long as I never need to see the 24/7 on TV. Like in a match, taking up a slot.
Yeah.
I think it should always be segments
Yeah.
throughout the week on YouTube, Twitter, whatever. And they do that a lot. I just don't want to see it on TV, especially when you've got 2 hours of show. It's not hard to fill 2 hours.
All right, man, we got some more comments coming in here. Tony Lowe, surprised to see the intergender stuff on SmackDown. You know, me as well.
Yeah.
Me as well. I'm like, honestly, I thought WWE was going to kind of stay away from that stuff.
Right.
Mike Fox, responding to your dad's comment about better than being a hugger. He's like, better than a Butch Hess match. Oh, man. Poor Butch.
Oh, man, we got more people.
We got, like, Mike Fox is giving the
I love it.
Brian, Mike Fox beat you to the Butch Hess comment this
He
week.
was put people taking my shtick.
Oh, people stealing your gimmick.
Yeah.
People stealing
Gimmick
your gimmicks.
infringement. Someone's going to get a cease and desist.
Yeah, Will Nave is
It's not
asking.
going to be us.
Will Nave is asking, what did Del Rio do? Del Rio kidnapped somebody and raped them.
Yeah. I mean,
That's what he did. He's probably going to jail for, I don't know, life.
Yeah, he's probably going for a good long while.
Yeah, and I can guarantee you, he's not going to be rolling up to jail honking in a Rolls Royce. It's not going to happen.
No, it's
bad news.
Yeah,
It's bad news bears for Alberto Del Rio.
But back to the titles and back to intergender and all that stuff. But I understand. I don't like that there's two men's titles. I don't like that there's two sets of tag titles. You've got on both Raw and SmackDown. It's like I enjoyed it when there was a balance of titles. If you had titles 1, 3, and 5 on SmackDown, you had 2, 4, and 6 on Raw.
Yeah,
and there was only that many and no one else, and you kept those titles on people like the whole Universal Champion and Heavyweight Champion stuff. They're the same damn title, whether you like it or not. Whether you try to push it as two different titles, they're the same damn thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense why you need to have two top champions in the company like that. I mean, even when we had the real heavyweight title, and the WWE Championship, the WWE Championship was here, where the heavyweight was here.
Yeah,
it was the
I still don't like the idea of two world heavyweight titles. Like I always like the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. There can be only two. Like it doesn't. Like,
right.
I'd like that. That's just me. Like I like the days when titles meant a little bit more.
Yeah, titles don't mean a lot anymore.
Yeah.
It just seems like they are legitimizers. If you have a title on you, it legitimizes you.
Yeah, and Ed's still coming in here in the chat. He was like, I always thought instead of Raw and SmackDown when WWE acquired WCW that they should have just kept the WCW brand active. Yes. 1,000 times yes.
Yep.
1,000 times yes. There's no reason. Like, you have this brand, and look, I get
it already had built-in branding.
Yeah, now I get like I'll be honest with you. This again, the Invasion was like one of the most fumbled storylines, ridiculously fumbled storylines in the history of professional wrestling. I think they did such a bad job of doing that Invasion that it just kind of it killed all chances of WCW being a separate brand.
Yes.
I do think they should have waited a lot longer before doing the Invasion. Maybe, getting WCW its own show and building that
because
out of a studio.
Because they proved it could work with the ECW stuff.
Yeah.
For those couple months, that the ECW stuff, the ECW Invasion, when WWE and ECW worked together, that worked.
Well, yeah, but
but you had a different brand.
Yeah, that wasn't the stake of the show, though. I mean, this is
no,
ECW wasn't a major angle.
No, but it worked.
It worked.
It got people a little interested. It didn't keep ECW alive, but it boosted Raw's rating, and that's all Vinnie Mac cared about.
Yeah, like I remember when they were actually talking about doing a separate entity. They had purchased a time slot on Saturday, and it ended up becoming a show called Excess.
Yes,
if you remember that, it was on for a couple of months before it was replaced by Velocity and Confidential. But yeah, you had this show called WWE Excess, but that was originally supposed to be WCW.
Yep.
And the show was supposed to be, get this, you're in for a laugh, hard on Saturday nights.
Oh, God.
Hard on Saturday nights. Yeah.
That's a Vince. Vince came up with that.
Yeah.
He came up with that.
Well, yeah.
That's such good shit.
No, that's such good shit.
Yeah. I mean,
name the show after a boner.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, he has no, he's got no, and this actually tracks because there are wrestling, people who've come out, after they've left the WWE and says, if it's not wrestling, if it's not WWE and pro wrestling, Vince doesn't follow it. He doesn't go to the movies. He doesn't watch TV. He doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that's how Razor Ramon got away with portraying Tony Montana and just giving him a different name on television from like 93 to about 96. That's how it happened because Vince doesn't watch movies. He never saw Scarface.
Right.
But speaking, on to other wrestling programming. We're going to go back to AEW Dynamite here for a bit. Sting. It's been officially announced. Sting is returning to action to the ring in a street fight at AEW Revolution next month.
Yep. It's him and Darby Allin versus Ricky Starks and Brian Cage.
We've got Taz at ringside. Taz cut a hell of a promo. You kind of saw the Taz of old on Wednesday night. Yeah, I just saw the comment you're laughing at.
I'm not. Oh, I didn't. I haven't watched it yet. Oh God.
Yeah.
No, I was. Oh, he said Mike Fox says audio and video are out of sync.
Audio and video are out of sync.
Oh yeah, we're a little behind, I think.
All right.
Well, it'll catch back up. Hopefully,
it'll catch back up here momentarily.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hope.
What's
that?
Yeah,
well, there's nothing you can do about that. It's just, it's the internet. It is what it is.
So, let's see. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Taz, once again, was Taz again this week. So they, this is a bad joke, but
not to cut you off again. Tony Lowe. Sounds like Liquid Death owes you money.
Yeah. Hey, man, if they want to send me a case of this crap and a couple bucks, I will drink this on every single show.
Yes, Liquid Death. Hope you're listening. You owe us some money.
Yeah, listen. Actually, believe it or not, I'm a big water snob. I am. I'm a water snob. I do not drink it out of the tap. It has
I'm
to
a beer
be,
snob. But
yeah, well, you know.
No disrespect to the fine pilsners that we normally drink.
Hey, they're a fine pilsner. They're an honest beer. But hey, Miller Lite, send me give me a promotion too. I'll wear your crap anywhere. I've got a Miller Lite hat at home I wear. But no, Liquid Death is it comes in a can because it's recyclable. And I think in every can sold, 75 cents goes to like some sort of like recycling crap, which is fine. But I started drinking it because Joe Manganiello drinks it. And I was curious, and Joe Manganiello is a huge D&D guy, a huge nerd. Nyla Rose, if you follow her on Instagram, is always pushing this stuff too. I really like it. It's super, it's water. Yeah, it is good water. It's, we donate 10% of all profits from every can sold to help kill plastic pollution. So, helping the environment a little bit, staying hydrated, Liquid Death, Let's work out a deal.
All right. Back to Taz.
Does Taz have an injury that keeps him from wrestling? I don't know. I just don't know if he doesn't want to wrestle. Does he? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it his back or neck?
No. I'll be honest with you. Like, I want to say this was 2002. Was his last wrestling matches, and I remember hearing that that neck injury that he had from ECW started to bother him a little bit more than it should. He had a cushy commentary gig with WWE that was paying him a lot of money. He didn't have to be in the ring, and he got treated like an employee with a wage and got his like they took care of his taxes and everything. I would have taken that deal and just sat at the desk too.
So anyway, so this week on Dark, Taz made a comment that they actually had to take Dark off of YouTube and re-upload it because they were talking about, Peter Avalon came out and they were talking about different instruments and stuff, and then Taz goes, "You ever played the skin flute?" And the guy broke, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I had to say it." So they pulled it immediately after Dark was over, edited that comment out, and then put it back up. But you can find the video of it. It's just, and Taz cracks himself up too.
Never played the skin flute.
Like, come on, man. If you don't watch AEW Dark, watch it for Taz's commentary. Yeah. Just Taz's commentary. If he is so funny.
He's still commentary gold.
Oh yeah, and he just it's almost like he's like one of us watching it and just saying what he wants.
Him and Michael Cole were actually a really good commentary.
Yeah.
Team.
Oh yeah.
Like that he made Michael Cole bearable, so there's that. That's all I got to say about that. All right. Ed, thanks for tuning in, by the way.
Join us next week.
Yes, please. Actually, Ed might be on the show next week.
Oh, really?
Yes. So, guys, next week I'm actually I'm trying to organize a show on like history of championship belts. So, any of you belt marks out there, if you can help us out with this show, it would be greatly appreciated. I know Mike Black's probably listening out there, and Ed's listening, but we're going to try to get some championship belts here in the studio and just talk about the history of them. And I think it's going to be a pretty interesting episode next week. A little bit of a deviation from the norm of your interviews and wrestling news.
Yeah, little history lesson. Some history
little history
stuff.
lesson on professional wrestling, and you'll get to see a lot of cool shit here next week. A lot of cool shit.
So there actually have been some more negative comments about WWE this week.
Yep.
From likes of The Undertaker.
Oh yeah.
And Roman Reigns. The Undertaker was on Joe Rogan's podcast this week, and he said he basically said that he struggles to watch today's product because it's too soft. That's coming from The Undertaker. Yeah. People listen to The Undertaker, whether
what is?
And he's been one of your... Yeah, it is. It is.
I mean, I'm sorry. It's...
Yeah?
Soft as baby poop. Sorry.
Michael Blackbook, which belt you want?
Which?
All of them.
All the belts.
Oh, man.
All the belts, son.
We might have to have a 2-camera setup just so we can see all the belts.
We're gonna make this. We're gonna make this look really good. Like
awesome.
I've got Ed still coming into the studio, and he's got some really gorgeous championship belts. Like some of the stuff that he has, like there's a lot of history behind.
That's cool. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
And I know Mike Black is an avid belt collector, and he's got some gems.
Yeah.
Of his own.
Oh man. Maybe we'll. I don't know if Ed can help us out, but maybe we'll if we can get some pictures of that stuff, we'll do a couple sneak peeks throughout the week on our social media and stuff.
Oh, we'll get some pictures.
Awesome.
We'll get some pictures. I'm actually coordinating with him after this episode.
Awesome.
To try to get
I'm excited. Yeah. So, the Undertaker came out and basically called the product soft, which it is. But it's interesting now that, Mark Calloway is Mark Calloway, not in essentially kayfabe. He's kind of speaking his mind on the product. He's, and people respect him.
Yeah.
He's the damn Undertaker. Like,
it's Taker. Yeah.
He's one of the, if you ask people who don't know anything about wrestling who do you know from wrestling? They're probably going to say Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, and the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Those three people are definitely going to be the people they know of.
My favorite wrestler of all time.
The Undertaker?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and so it's not a great look. Once again, every week I come in here and say this as I hope WWE really does change the product.
Something's got to give.
Something's got to give. And we've been saying this for a long time, but, I doubt it will.
And granted, I know I am not the particular age group of fan that they are directing the product to, but I can tell you this, I have nieces and nephews who watch. My niece is an avid WWE fan.
Right.
Loves watching the women wrestle, she's a hardcore fan. My oldest nephew he's been a WWE fan his entire life. Our family, we're WWE, we're wrestling people,
right? I think Kyle in our group chat this week says your roommate watched it for the first time in 10 years or something, and he said it was awful or something like that.
Yeah.
It was not good, and that's bad.
I can't imagine what a wrestling fan who hasn't watched in 10 or 15 years. What happens when they turn on the product and see what's being produced now? I'll give you a good one. My one friend Marcello, who I went to high school with, went to middle school with. I honestly, when I got into wrestling, I was watching it with him and another friend of mine, Anthony, up in the West End, West End of Hagerstown. That's what we did Monday, Thursday nights. We watched wrestling.
Sure.
One of the big things that I keep seeing, he'll comment on posts now and just be like, man, this is what happened to wrestling. What the F?
Right.
He doesn't watch avidly anymore.
Right.
It's
there's not a lot of people who do.
Yeah, he doesn't watch avidly anymore. And I mean, when you're seeing this from people that have just tuned out for a while and they tune back in and they're just like, man, this is
not what I want to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even I don't even think it's the characters. I just think you're putting people in situations, or you're putting these characters in situations that logically these characters would not be in.
Right. And that's logical storytelling is not something that WWE does well anymore.
And here's this is a Vince Russo line. What's logic in an illogical business? Or no, it's Jeff Jarrett line actually. But I always hear Vince Russo say this, and say what you want about the man. This is the God's honest truth. You've got to go with logic first,
right?
Because it literally makes storytelling so much simpler.
Oh yeah.
I don't understand why that's not a concept that's being followed. Granted, you've got your over the top storylines, this Alexa Bliss storyline is currently going on.
I love it.
Yeah, which I think
I love it.
I think it's great. Seeing Randy Orton in a situation you haven't seen Randy Orton in.
She beat Asuka clean this week.
Yeah,
it was.
I think that whole entire storyline is just it's great for TV because it's something. It's something that they built to. They have the characters in a point where you know what's coming next, but you don't know how it's coming.
Right.
Which it keeps you on the edge of your seat. I think there needs to be more stuff like that. However, there's other some of these other storylines even Goldberg coming back in their hotshot in main events. I get everybody
God.
Goldberg facing Drew McIntyre should not be a match right now.
No,
it shouldn't.
Goldberg versus anyone shouldn't be a match right now.
If you had a crowd and you're trying to build to a live event or trying to sell out a stadium maybe for a one-night deal, yeah, I can see that. I could see that being a match. But right now with
there are now rumors coming out that it will be Goldberg versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania this year.
Man, well, I know which match I'm going to.
Exactly. I wish you guys could see Kyle's face. I mean, just the look of
utter disdain.
Yeah.
I get it, dude. Like, I'll sit there right now. The phenomenon of Goldberg, I was there for it. Like, I remember watching it. Like,
but that was how long ago?
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago, but still, like, that mystique. If you could recreate that, great.
But they can't.
However, putting this man in title match after title match, you basically, like, they've trained a viewer to know right now that when Goldberg comes back, it's for a title. It's for a title. He hasn't fought for said title. It makes, like, in my personal opinion, I feel like that devalues the title when somebody just comes back and is just thrown in the title picture.
Yes and no. When it comes to people like that, people who are super part-timers, when it's someone coming back, like we talked about last week, Charlotte Flair coming back after injury or whatever and being put into a title picture, that's different. Because Charlotte Flair is one of their talents, their usual talents, and one of their better talents. When you bring in people like Goldberg, who wrestle twice a year, and if one of those times is good...
Also, sidebar on that, Charlotte Flair was also, I think she lost the title right before she left.
Yes. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So it makes sense to put her back in the title picture.
Yes. Like my dad, Brian Carl, like Batista winning that Royal Rumble. Oh, man.
Oh, I was there for that. I was there live for that, and I'm going to tell you this.
Not a good reaction.
No, no. From the live experience, because I had people after that. It's just like there are these old school local wrestlers around here, and I won't mention names, but they're just like, people should just shut up and enjoy the show. And I have to say to this, if you would have seen how excited people were walking into that building, and then upon realizing that they were about to get some bullshit, I mean, it wasn't something that just happened, from the beginning of the night where people were walking in to be pissed off.
Right.
Slowly, they realized what was about to happen.
Yep.
They kept holding on hope to the happy ending at the end of the show, and just, like, not even just not getting it, not a swerve, nothing. It was just, nope. We're doing something else.
Yeah.
We don't care if you like this other angle.
And
This is what we're doing. That's literally right there. That's just sitting there and doing one of these to your audience.
Yes.
So slowly raising your finger the entire night and doing one of these.
Yeah. That was. Oh man, I remember that.
I remember.
Was I watching that at a? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was watching that at a Buffalo Wild Wings when they used to show those at Buffalo Wild Wings in Morgantown, West Virginia, when I was in college, because that was the year I ended up going to Mania. It was my senior year of college.
That should have been the best day ever. I got to have Permane Brothers for the first time.
Oh,
and I'm not talking about this Permane Brothers here in Hagerstown. I'm talking about like the real deal, the hole in the wall place with like Bruno Sammartino and freaking Franco Harris on the wall painted. And you're going in.
Oh yeah,
some old lady that you could tell clearly has worked there for like 20 odd years. Yeah, I get the real deal Permane Brothers. I was excited about that.
You go to the Royal Rumble.
I walked in the snow around Pittsburgh. You know how much I hate their football team?
Oh, I
walked in the snow.
Speaking of football teams, Mike, I can't let you came on this show wearing your Baltimore Ravens. You're a good fan, but
I'm cutting him off.
How about them Ravens?
I've been to a lot of shows.
How about them Ravens last week? Yeah, because you had a good run. Great.
We did.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting.
Our producer Kyle is shaking his head.
Hey, I wasn't even expecting to be there this year, so I was happy with whatever happened. But hey, I had to show up and support my team last week.
Once again, one of the best worst teams in the NFL this year with the Steelers.
No, I had to show up to support my team, and that's
good
what
for
I did.
you.
That's
good
what
for
I
you,
did.
Mike.
I know. Hey, it's the Bills' year, and you want to know what? Good for the Bills. Good for the Bills, because at least it's not the Patriots.
No, but what's funny is that Tom Brady could still end up in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I think that's hilarious. Like these
it's
Patriots
hilarious.
Haters.
Good old Bill Belichick. He's
Yeah, Dad. I don't know if my dad might have just found this out that he posted in the guy that owned Yans in Fairmont died. Okay, yeah. You guys don't know about Yans.
No.
In Fairmont, West Virginia, there was this little tiny building. It's probably no more than probably what this tiny area.
Okay.
I mean, and it was owned by this guy. I don't remember his first name, but Yan was his last name. And it was Yan's Hot Dogs. And this guy did this for decades. And if you came in, if you asked for ketchup on it, he threw you out.
Yeah.
But he put this Yan sauce on it. It was the spicy sauce. The only difference between mild and spicy was the amount of sauce he put on it. The guy is basically a West Virginia cryptid up there with like the Mothman. And like he's a real he passed away this week. I mean, talk about legend.
Yeah.
Like we had the Hedgesville High School wrestling team. Whenever they would go up towards Fairmont or Morgantown for competitions.
Yep.
And you drank it, and the thing he had was chocolate milk.
So hot dogs with spicy ketchup and chocolate milk.
Not ketchup. No. It was a spicy sauce the guy made fresh every day.
I'd have been told to get the fuck out.
Yeah. Because there's no ketchup. He's like, hey, can I have ketchup? He would just tell you to leave. Like, the dude was a damn legend.
Wow.
Incredible.
Wow.
Sorry, Dad had to mention that.
It's like the soup Nazi on Seinfeld, almost.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. And they were good. They were spicy, but man, was they good.
Wow.
And the last thing, talking about, people crapping on WWE besides us and The Undertaker, Roman Reigns said this week that all of the shows at the Performance Center were trash.
Of course they were.
I mean, once again, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's just not wrong. I mean, there was that time, onions and mustard. Yeah. On those hot dogs. Yeah. But, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. During this COVID era, it has just not been good, especially when they were in the Performance Center and they were scrambling to figure out what to do. Just wasn't good.
Oh, I got a story for you here.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. You hear about Dolph Ziggler's brother?
No.
So Dolph Ziggler's brother, his name is Ryan Nemeth.
Okay.
And next week, if you're watching AEW Dynamite, you will get to see him in action against one Hangman Page.
Yeah. That's who that is. That's Dolph Ziggler's brother.
Yeah, so...
That's a guy that should honestly be at the top of the company.
What, Dolph Ziggler?
Yes.
Yeah. But, Vince, for some reason...
He's not tall enough. Well, pretty much. I mean... Vince, for some reason, has got to burrow up his ass and, doesn't want to push one of the best But you know
workers.
what? Kudos to Dolph for doing the job. Like, it doesn't... Yeah. It seems like he'll do whatever the company asks. He's a company man. Good for him.
Good for him. I wouldn't have... I'd like, honestly, like, I would...
The amount of crap he's put up with, like, Goldberg coming out last year and spearing him, like, 3 or 4 times. Just dumb.
Yeah. I would have liked to see him against... I would like to see him in AEW, honestly.
I was getting... Yeah.
Yeah, because they could do something special for him. But AEW's card next week, we'll go back to that. We've got Chris Jericho and MJF versus the Varsity Blondes. We've got Dr. Britt Baker versus Shanna. We've got Lance Archer versus Eddie Kingston.
Ooh.
One half of FDR, Dax Harwood, will be facing one Jungle Boy. By the way, have you heard his new entrance music?
Who?
Jungle Boys.
Yes.
Yeah. They got his indie music back. Tony Khan forked out the money, which good for you, Tony Khan. Because music does matter.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And last but not least, Hangman Page versus Ryan Nemeth.
That's going to be a good match.
Oh, here's a good one, too. The AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, and the Impact World Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers, will face Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order.
Yeah.
I'm almost certain we're going to see an appearance by -1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. -1. -1 there. And Cody Rhodes is going to he's going to respond to comments from NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal.
Perfect.
I'm waiting to see when Shaquille O'Neal's like, you know what? I don't want to do wrestling again for like the 10th time.
I'm wondering who he brings in.
Who, Shaq?
Yeah, I think Shaq is going to show up, talk crap, but he's like, I'm not doing this wrestling thing anymore, and he's going to bring someone in.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who. Who'd you say? Rodman?
Oh, bring in Rodman.
Oh, man.
I'll tell you right now, Dennis Rodman is ratings for me. I love me some Dennis Rodman, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy is fucking money. Sorry for the...
That's twice today, Mike.
Well,
Come on. Family show.
We've met our quota. We've met our quota.
We are officially rated R. PG-13, you can say it once.
Well, all right.
I think that's about it, though.
Yeah, I think it's about it, man. We are right on time. Do you, We do have some Voltage Wrestling. You're going to see some more out of the Voltage Wrestling Facebook page this week. Lots of interesting things coming up here.
Yeah, so once again, like, share, subscribe,
yes,
that
please.
as well.
Yes,
all your friends, just,
Just invite all your friends.
Yeah.
Invite all your friends.
And if they don't want to, whatever. But,
Despite
we could...
the F-bombs, it is fun for the whole family.
Yeah. We're trying to build this up. We really do believe this is the Rolls Royce of wrestling podcast.
The podcast pit is for the children.
Yeah.
It's for the children.
For the children. Oh, man. Oh, thank God. Well, Pockets Cassidy is not on the card. Yeah, Dad, I know you don't like Orange Cassidy. He's over.
Bite your tongue.
He's over. I mean, say what you will. The dude is over.
Yes, Orange Cassidy is one of my favorites.
My dad is kind of like our local Jim Cornette at times. I think he shares a lot of the similar feelings that Jim Cornette shares about current talent in AEW.
We gotta pay the bills. I've been paying it at the bottom of the screen, but yeah. Hey, today's broadcast is brought to you by the good folks at One Up IT Consulting. Once again, if you are a small business,
and hopefully Liquid Death sometime soon.
Hopefully Liquid Death, but for right now, One Up IT Consulting. If you are a small business in the area, you do not want to do the job the bad IT. Please call the people that provide you technical support, system security, and most importantly, peace of mind. The good folks at One Up IT Consulting. You can reach them on the web at www.oneupitconsulting.com or by phone at 301-799-3553. Paying the bills.
Pay the bills.
And also, we're going to make a special shout out here. You see this in the bottom right hand corner of our screen, but the good folks at Display J, our wonderful, awesome producer, Jay Hike, has got a signage business here. Ladies and gentlemen,
he did the podcast pit sign
right back here was made by
wrestlers. I know, local wrestlers. I think this is a good resource, for your table.
Yes.
It's when a live events come back, but
start gearing up because live events are going to be back here by the summer.
And you do not want to be left in the dust.
You don't want to be left in the dust. Be prepared. Get these are great signs.
He does table. He does the table thing,
throws,
signage, cards, anything you can think of.
He even made the green screens that we were using in the former set before Captain trashed everything.
Yep.
So
please visit displayj.com. One Up IT Consulting. Liquid Death, give me a call. Yeah. Miller Lite, give me a call too.
Yeah, Miller Lite. Miller Lite should be giving us a call.
Yeah,
we have.
Maybe I'll shoot them a message on
we have
Twitter today.
Who knows? Fine Pilsners more than we should.
Oh yeah, I've gotten a retweet from them once or twice with the hashtag Fine Pilsner. I'm trying to get that marketing going.
Yeah, it really is. It's an honest beer.
It is. It doesn't say it's a
great there's a lot of people in the wrestling
Pilsner.
business that will lie to you and BS you, but you know what won't lie to you? Miller Lite.
Miller Lite.
Miller Lite. It doesn't say it's a great Pilsner.
It's a fine Pilsner.
It's a fine Pilsner.
It's just fine.
It's honest.
Yeah.
It's honest.
Oh, gosh.
It says so right on the can.
Oh, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and see if Kyle Reyes, our stand-in producer today, can get the outro right here. For all of us, I am Mike Raddick. This is Rennis Carball. We will see you next week. Same podcast time, same podcast channel.
This is the podcast pit, brought to you by Ben Media.
Yes.
I think so. I'm gonna watch the screen. Mute our mics maybe too.